What's up, YouTube? Jake and Ben from Yu-Gi-Oh! Team Name Pending here doing a ban list prediction and discussion. So, to start off the list,
I'll go first. We have Atlantean Dragoons banned. We want to ban this card because it removes the counterplay from water, and that, like, the Atlantean, which allow mermails to go plus on their summons, requires your opponents to have something which kind of allows for counterplay, but Dragoons, I apologize for that. Dragoons can just be used at any time, and especially combined with Undine is just very strong.
next card, Yugioh Gear. Yugioh Gear and Rabbit are similar, but Rabbit has obviously been on this list before, but let's talk about Yugioh Gear. Yugioh Gear is one of those cards that is just, when you draw it in your hand, you're just like, oh, I guess I win the duel. For the fact that it's a trap card, and if you activate during your opponent's end phase, not like Maxi hurts. So Yugioh Gear is just, that's why the deck is pretty much really good this format. It's just so dumb that the card is any machine in your deck. So if you activate it and you have armor, you get Birdman, you instantly win. And it's just too dumb to make any rank 4 without them being able to respond to that. Like they can't even torrential if you do an end phase. And the deck has been playing multiple traps done, so yeah.
Also,
very dumb.
I forgot. Moving on. Rabbit, very similar. Just if you draw it, you typically win the game. Alright, let's get right out for now. Warning, is one of those cards that the player who draws it typically has a very large advantage over the player who does not draw it. Because there's no counterplay, you can't like trap stun it, you can't lance it, and you can't really do anything to it. And if the fact that it can just say no is what we're really trying to stop with this ban list. Cards that just say no. So moving on to limited cards. First up,
Upstart Goblin. Upstart has been pretty much the card of the format.
every deck plays
like,
it.
Unless you're Patrick Star and you live under a rock, then you don't know Upstart is amazing for the fact that it lets you play a 37 card deck. And decks like consistent decks like Fire Fist, that they make even more consistent with 3 Upstart, 3 Tanky, 3 Duality. That's why that deck's the best deck of the format, because it's just too consistent. Upstart Goblin at 1, we believe people would maybe still play it, but it's not as like controversial as like, oh, I have 3 Upstarts in my deck, I'm getting to my cards faster, and I'm gonna beat you. Because life points don't matter until they're at 0.
Alright, so next up, we have Scodrain. This card's on the list, similar. I think we're going to put in the same category as a mistake, in that, in the same aspect as like Macro, Defissure, Soul Drain, it's just cards that say your opponent cannot play, which I feel like Konami is trying to veer off of, because it just removes the player interaction, which has already been mitigated over the recent top tier decks, so they're kind of. Take this one, Jade, because it is your deck.
Alright, well, if you are subscribed to us and you watch our videos, you would know that I do play Midolches. They're my favorite deck, and they need to get hit. I'm not saying this because, oh, I play Midolches, they're so good. No, but with Angeli coming out, the deck with 3 Angeli and 3 Mageline, it's just too strong. And Mageline itself has been teched in other decks for the fact that you can summon Mageline, search Mageline, next turn, summon Mageline, search Mageline. The reason we didn't put it at 2 was, number 1, to make the deck less consistent, and number 2, so you can't Mageline for Mageline. So yeah, that's why we put Mageline at 1. We believe that that's the...
Although I will say that, while we think it should be at 1, it probably won't be, because Konami doesn't really like to do the preemptive bans.
Yeah, like, a lot of people say that Who Kick should be at 1, or Who Kick should just, like, go. I've heard, like, one person say that, but if Who Kick's at 1, then the deck functions fine, unless you, like, bottomless it, like Bestiari, but, like, Mageline at 1 really just stops the +1 every turn. Next, thank you.
Tenki is a card that its versatility is its downfall. The fact that it's basically a Rhoda for so many decks is just like, it makes it really strong. In Fire Fist, it's really good because Tenki is usually a monster pop, and if you have a bear and bear attacks, you go tanky. Just a no-brainer play, and it's like it really removes a lot of the like choices that you can potentially do in Fire Fist. Like his bear for tanky is just so autopilot and standard, and tanky will also help for Boojins in a way. So yeah, we're next up.
Alright, well, Skill Drain and Mistake are kind of I win cards against some decks, but this is an I win card. What is it, like one or banned?
I think one.
That and Historic Party. Those are a couple cards we forgot, but while he was talking about I win cards, these two are just literally I win cards. Historic Party for the fact that discarding a card isn't even bad because you can special summon the one that you discarded. You can also discard like
Sign.
Historic Sign, which is just dumb. But cards like this that are just like, draw. All right, I'm gonna bait out your back row or pop them all because I'm playing Heartbeats. And flip Historic Party and win the duel. And Rekindling for the fact that Rekindling was made for Flamvels. Now Fire Kings are using it. Like, they're not, like, one of the top contenders, but every single, like, regional I've seen, pretty much, at least, like, one Fire King is in the top 8 from all the deck profiles I've been seeing. So Rekindling is just an I win button that's just very dumb and, like, not smart to keep in this game. Like, it's been here too long.
So next up is Cyberstein. We feel like this is a card that is back in the OCG. You hear a lot about it. I strongly agree. The 5,000 life points is an extremely large cost that, at the risk of getting like Valored or Warninged, or even like Fiendish Chained, it's really not worth it. Because at best, you summon an Exterio. That's like, I think that's the best target. There's like that Guy Drake, Blue Eyes, Megamorph. Uh, and it's just 5,000 life points is like a lot, and especially like combine that with other cards, like, and also Cyber Sign is only 700 attack, so it's very easy to just attack over it for a game.
Possibly for game, yeah. And, even since we are banning Gear, you can't just flip Gear, go get 2 guys, go Gear and get Cyberstein.
Yeah.
Like, but that's the only problem that I would see with it was that you can search it out. But just searching it out, it's still just like if you Valor it, you win.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because its effects never resolving again. So next card, Avistius. Avistius is in here because water has been popping up everywhere. We hit Dragoons, but Dragoons for
When
a
you
reason.
say that, it's been bubbling up.
Well, Dragoons we hit because it's just one of those cards that's just too good. But Tias is pretty much the deck right now.
It's the engine.
It's like the fact that it's not Megalo and that can search a monster, and that it's not a neg 1, is first turn Tias, possibly just get like a
Then a Turge.
Lind or Turge, Pike, anything, Gun, which is like the best card of the deck. It's just too good. Cocoon Party. Alright,
broken.
but yeah, Tias is just the card of the deck.
Jake, this is an I win card. Look at this. For each in your graveyard. Alright, I'm sorry. Moving on.
Alright, back to Tias. It's just one of those cards that it's not a neg 1 like Megalo, that's why it's fine. It can get your monsters, and it just gets you rolling. If you do Undyne Tias, you're going Gaios turn 1. Gaios turn 1. Any rank 7 pretty much turn 1 is just too strong.
Also, hold on, before we go to the semi-limited, there's one more card on our limited list, and it is Wind Up Carrier Zen Mighty. This card could definitely come back. It's really good in windups, but windups as a deck, they have a lot of inherent flaws. There are many side cards. So like if they go first, they have an extremely consistent way to loop your hand for 3 or 4 cards. Now, they need Magician and Shark, which is a card that's limited, and even if you have Factory, you can't open it. To loop, I think 2 cards is?
It's 2 cards and a rank 3, but you do get rid of your Zen Mighty early, and that's like not smart.
Yeah,
Zen Mighty right away.
If it's summoned to the windup in defense, then it'd be a no-brainer, but I feel like that's his one flaw in card design.
But also I've been thinking about it. I've been talking about Magician back to 3, keeping Zen Mighty, but I've been thinking, and Magician at 3 is just really just too good. So Zen Mighty back to 1 would make the thing of them still being seen and except for that like one regional. So,
Right.
alright, now
So-
it's semi-limited.
Limited.
Semi-limited.
Oh, okay.
Bottomless.
Let's see.
Alright. Bottomless is it's one of those cards that it can come back to 2 if what's it called? That card right there, Solemn Warning, goes to 0. Because Bottomless, this format, everyone's been playing Trap Stuns, Forbidden Lances, everyone's playing Triple Space. I mean, Space doesn't negate it, but some dumb people are blind spacing. So, Bottomless to 2 would be fair, except for the Trap Tricks cards that are coming out
Pull
soon.
up in a second.
Yeah, pull it up.
Specifically, Mermleo,
Yeah.
which is actually making a cameo appearance in many Fire Fist decks now.
Yeah. But Bottomless to 2 is just very respondable. Like, you can respond to it, unlike Warning, where it's like normal summon bear, warning, you can't lance, you can't do anything about that. Bottomless to 2 would just make it more, like, you're just taking out the warning for Bottomless, instead of just losing a very important trap card in your deck.
Alright, so next up, Ryo is a card that I'm sorry. Compulsory is a card that is really lackluster. It's typically a -1 because most of the time you're bouncing like a bear or like a threat. So it's good in that aspect. It's a good trade-off. It's a -1 to get rid of temporarily a problem threat. Like, even if you bounce an extra deck card, it's typically an even, which is still not that broken. It could definitely come back. Some decks aren't even playing it right now, just because it lacks. Like, it has versatility, but it lacks like potential to go plus, which is the inevitable goal of our wonderful world of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Alright, next card, Ryo. Ryo is in both banned and semi, for the fact that Ryo could, I believe, go either way on this ban list. If it gets banned, that's great, because like they are doing, they're hurting cards that are not good for the game. Just like Soul Drain, Macro, all those cards. When Ryo went to 1, everyone's like, oh, Ryo, no. It went from 3 to 2 to 1. It's coming back? Alright. But, yeah, I just think that the card has overstayed its welcome and should just get banned. Or they will think, oh, Ryo is very good. It helps balance out decks that aren't played that much, just like anti-meta decks. So they might put it to 2 to help out decks like that against the meta.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why isn't Trishula on us? What should I wear that actually? So, tell me, because I was not the original creator of this list. Why is Trishula not on the list?
I still think Trishula should just not come back.
Alright.
It's one of those cards, it's like Exiton. For the fact that Exiton blows up their field, but if you go Trishula and you get a good Trishula off, it's like you nail their boss monster.
Their warning.
You nail the monster out of you nail the best card of their hand, and then you nail cards out of their graveyard. Like you're playing in Cyber Dragon. You go banish their core, banish a random card from their hand, maybe a core or repair plant, and then banish their Nova, and then they just lost everything. But like the card's just, I think it's just too dumb, and it's too easy to make now with all these YOLO plays and such. Like Infernities, like no.
I guess. Oh yeah.
And Infinities are seen.
They bounce it back with Brio and okay. Moving on. Magician of Faith to 2. This card does it really nothing. It's really slow. No decks can abuse it. There are no really power spells to add back anymore. With the banning of Reborn and Heavy Storm, Dark Hole is kind of like irrelevant. It's not that broken anymore. I think that's just a very simple
the
thing.
only thing it does is help spellbooks, if anything.
But I don't even play it.
And they don't even play it. But don't press A to Z. But yeah, my friend was playing Magician of Faith in the beginning of the format, and literally all I got back was like a Miracle Fusion or like an Upstart Goblin. Like the card is just not as great as everyone thought it would be, and I think it was great that Konami brought it back. Reckless. Reckless to 2 is not like Reckless to 1, because Reckless to 2, people might still play the card. It just limits the chance of drawing multiples of the card, which is why it's just so ridiculous. Because if you draw multiples, you're just going super plus. And
Super even, but it's like the best even ever. But the card at 2 really promotes the high risk, high reward playstyle.
Thank you, Patrick Hogan.
Alright, so our only card coming back to 3 for now, as far as I know. Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
Is ARA. This card does like,
Especially with the new ritual coming out in Prio or whatever.
those advent. I love that card. I want to make a video about that card. I'm chasing with you. Alright, so all it really brings out is typically that's not what I want to do. Herald is the only really prevalent thing. Gishkis don't play it because Aquamirror is just better. I know. Sing Roosters. You can bring back Zero the Mint. Oh no, you can't even do that. Wow. Alright, anyway. Herald is it's like, it only brings back Herald, and even then, the deck just has so many abilities to search for it that it's kind of irrelevant that it's at 2. Because it's so easy to search for it, and it just, I guess drawing it helps with consistency, but the deck, like, what is it possibly gonna do? You know?
Yeah, like it's one of those decks that if you play it like at a regional or YCS, yeah, you'll draw it a bunch of games, but a lot of games you'll just draw shit. So it's
Whoa,
like
whoa, whoa, keep it clean.
you'll just draw poo poo.
Boo boo.
So yeah, it just won't be like a consistent deck I can see topping, unless there's like one really consistent build that no one has been thinking of, like the Tethys build. But like, yeah. So that's our list.
Alright.
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We out.